Today's video is sponsored by Mugambi Mwiti, a true patriot and a Kenyan nationalist at heart. Stand by for debrief in 3, 2, 1. As we speak, the European Union has blocked all Tanzanian aircrafts from operating in its airspace. Let me read for you the article in brief, and I quote. The European Commission today updated the EU air safety list, the list of airlines that are subject to an operating ban or operational restrictions within the European Union because they do not meet international safety standards. Following today's update, all air carriers certified in the Suriname and Tanzania have been included on the list and can no longer operate in the EU. Ensuring the highest level of safety for Europeans and all other traveling passengers is at the very heart of the Commission's aviation safety policy. This decision is based on serious safety concerns identified during assessments conducted by European Union aviation safety experts. They revealed that civil aviation authorities in these countries are unable to ensure compliance with international safety standards for air carriers. For Suriname and Tanzania, the identified safety shortcomings cover both operational and regulatory areas. This include a shortage of qualified personnel, ineffective oversight processes in flight operations and airworthiness, and non-compliance with international safety standards by both countries. Now, this is all just a classic case of international retribution. The European Union has decided to use flight restrictions to punish the Tanzanian government for its political malfeasance. I can bet you $1 million that this has nothing to do with aviation, and I'll give you evidence corroborating the same. Number one, from where I sit, this all tracks back to May 5th, 2025, when the European Union MPs warned Tanzania over their treatment of Tundu Lissu, and they didn't listen. Here's the EU Member of Parliament Katerina Vieira warning TZ over the arrest of Tundu Lissu.
Colleagues, Commissioner, Mr. Lissu started his career as a lawyer working on land rights and on the impact of mining in protected areas. His political activity and his exposure of government corruption made him a target for an assassination attempt, followed by several years of exile in Belgium. He returned home to Tanzania. He became a leader of the opposition party, and just last month he was arrested, disqualified for participating in the upcoming election in October, and charged with treason, a crime punishable with a death sentence. This is not a standalone case. It exemplifies the regime's treatment of political opposition, civil society organizations, journalists, indigenous peoples, and human rights defenders. Anyone who poses a threat to the ruling elite is effectively silenced. The EU can and should do more. We should make any future EU investments in Tanzania conditional upon improvements of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. Embassies and the EU delegation must monitor the trials of those unlawfully detained, and we should increase the funds supporting civil society and indigenous communities. Today, this Parliament stands with Mr. Lissu and with all of those unjustly deprived of freedom in Tanzania. To them we say, you are not alone.
Now, did the Tanzanian government listen? Oh, hell no, they didn't. So now even Mama Samia cannot visit Europe. Neither can any of her citizens. For them to go to Europe, they will have to charter an airline from a neighboring country, i.e. Kenya Airways. Theirs has been rendered useless in Europe. So no going to France, no going to England, or even Belgium. Hiyo yote sahau, mucheze hapo Arusha na Dodoma. And let me just sound a warning to Tanzania. A small EU MP in the name of Katerina Vieira warned you and you didn't listen. Now EU has banned all your flights. Na bado Suluhu haski. She's so scared of elections that she wants Lissu gone no matter what. And that's why I say this nation should tread carefully. If Suluhu is able to keep Lissu out of the ballot, the next international body that will come after the Tanzanians is the United Nations. Sponsored by who? By the European Union. And when that happens, ndo mtajua mjui. But anyway, to each his own. Kwa sasa ni kama emotions na kiburi ya Suluhu ndio navigational compass ya Tanzania. It'll all lead to a big black abyss if you ask me. And if you really want to know that the end of Suluhu and CCM has arrived, just listen in to the radio chatter from the neighbors. Because before the foreigners take notice, usually the immediate neighbors will have already seen it coming. Just listen in to Millie Odhiambo.
I want to say that I'm extremely disappointed, especially as a person who has been #1 supporter of the president of Tanzania. And I'd want to say that all is not lost. She can still retrace her steps. Really, because her presidency is her focus not on just her, but on a lot of women. It's a test on women leadership. And so I would want to ask her to rethink and reset. That's not what we want to see. Her presidency for women goes beyond Tanzania. And even the fact that people like Martha were stopped. She made a big issue out of nothing, if you ask me. Look at Uganda. Uganda was allowed Martha to go in, and she's come out. Big deal. Nobody's talking about Uganda anymore. So I don't think, and Martha is a lawyer, for instance, and who is allowed to go to all these areas to represent people. It's legal. There's nothing illegal about that. And so I know that we have agreed not to talk about this, and I've been restraining myself. But I just want to say for President Samia Suluhu Hassan that I've been her fan number one, and I've not lost hope in her. I am still hoping that she can retrace her steps.
So Suluhu, if your neighbors don't support you, if women don't support you, if the European Union is against you, wewe jua chuma chako kimotoni, unless you change. And usually for leaders, there's so much pride that change is not something they talk about unless it's petty cash that they're owed after purchasing an item. But at the end of the day, guys, that's just my opinion. Do you think the EU is going after Tanzania because of Lissu and also issues like the harassment of Boniface Mwangi? Because we have seen the United Nations jumpstart investigations into Tanzania. Just drop me your comments in the comment section below and I'll do my best to read them and to give you a response. In the event you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula, hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. Alright guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.